Welcome to night 29 to fall asleep fast. This is a quiet place where you don't need to focus, remember, or do anything at all. You can simply listen or let the sound fade gently into the background. If it feels right, you can softly like this video now or leave a calm comment sharing where you're listening from and what time it is. There's no need to rush. Everything here moves slowly. Tonight, we explore ancient Roman spa culture and the soothing history of thermal bathing rituals. A calm and unhurried story from the past, told gently, without urgency and without expectation. You don't need to stay awake for it. You don't need to follow every detail. If you were here last night, welcome back. And if this is your first night, you can begin right here, exactly as you are. A new night will be waiting for you again tomorrow. But for now, allow your breathing to slow, your thoughts to drift, and let this story quietly carry you toward rest. The evening settles over the city without announcement. No sudden change marks its arrival, only a gradual softening of light as the sun lowers itself beyond tiled rooftops and distant hills. The wide streets of Rome, still warm from the day, begin to release their stored heat into the cooling air. Stone, brick, and marble exhale quietly, as though the city itself were breathing out after long hours beneath the sun. Along one of these broad avenues stands the bath complex, its outer walls pale against the deepening sky. From afar it does not demand attention. Its arches and columns rise with quiet confidence, shaped by hands long accustomed to carving permanence from stone. The structure rests within the rhythm of the city rather than towering above it. At this hour, it appears less like a place of gathering and more like a still presence, settled into the evening like an old companion who has seen many such sunsets. The sky shifts through muted tones, soft gold fading into blue, blue deepening toward indigo. A faint haze lingers near the ground where warmth meets cooling air. It carries with it the subtle scent of heated stone and distant water. Somewhere beyond the visible courtyards, channels guide warm currents through hidden passages, and though the water cannot yet be seen, its presence is suggested in the gentlest threads of steam that rise and dissolve against the darkening sky. The outer courtyard lies open, framed by colonnades whose shadows lengthen slowly across the paving stones. These stones, worn smooth by countless sandaled feet, retain the memory of the day's warmth. If one were to rest a hand upon them, the heat would still be there, faint but steady, like an echo that has not yet faded. The air above them cools more quickly, brushing softly against the surface, drawing out the last of the sun's touch. There is no urgency in the movement here. A few distant figures pass along the far edge of the courtyard, their outlines softened by the dimming light. They do not hurry. Evening does not press upon them. The bathhouse has stood for years and it will stand tomorrow. Its rhythm is patient, indifferent to the fleeting concerns of any single day. From certain angles, the structure seems almost weightless despite its size. High arches open onto shadowed interiors, where light shifts from the open sky to a warmer glow within. The interior illumination is not yet fully visible, but hints of it flicker in the deeper recesses, small tremors of amber that suggest oil lamps and torches being tended as daylight retreats. The baths were designed not only for cleansing but for lingering. Even from outside, this intention can be felt. The proportions of the building invite slowness. Wide steps lead gently upward rather than sharply. Doorways are tall and curved, encouraging an unhurried crossing. The space between columns allows the evening air to move freely, circulating without force. Above, the first faint stars appear, barely perceptible in the remaining light. Their presence does not compete with the city below. Instead, they hover quietly as though watching without expectation. The bath complex beneath them seems to belong equally to earth and sky, rooted in stone, yet open to the shifting colors overhead. Somewhere behind the thick outer walls, water flows through channels heated by carefully tended fires. The system that sustains this warmth remains hidden, yet its effects are gently visible. A thin ribbon of steam escapes through a vent near the roofline, rising for a moment before dissolving into the cooling dusk. It carries no sound loud enough to disturb the calm. Its movement is steady, almost meditative. The courtyard tiles reflect the last traces of light in muted tones. Their surfaces, once bright beneath midday sun, now take on softer shades, dusty rose, pale gray, faint ivory. Time seems to stretch in this light, not because it slows in truth, but because the senses no longer strain to follow it. The brightness of day demands attention, evening allows it to drift. Beyond the baths, the larger city continues its own quiet adjustments. Market stalls close gradually. Voices diminish. Footsteps grow less frequent. Yet here, near the outer walls of the bathhouse, the transition feels especially gentle. The building absorbs sound as much as it holds warmth. Its thick stone dampens the sharper edges of the world. A breeze passes through the colonnade, stirring loose grains of dust along the ground. It carries the faint mineral scent of heated water and the subtle trace of oil. These scents do not dominate, they simply exist, blending with the cooling air. The evening becomes layered, stone, water, air, each element settling into balance. The entrance itself remains open, though not imposing. A wide arch frames a darker interior beyond. From this distance, the inside appears neither mysterious nor inviting in a dramatic sense. It is simply there, a continuation of space shaped by human hands. The threshold does not demand crossing. It waits. The outer walls hold carvings and decorative details that catch the fading light. Floral motifs, simple geometric patterns, and the careful symmetry of Roman design reveal themselves more softly in twilight. Without the glare of noon, the craftsmanship becomes subtler, as though meant to be appreciated in this quieter hour. Even the ground seems to grow still. The warmth stored in stone no longer rises in waves, but radiates evenly, gradually releasing what it has kept. The contrast between the heated surfaces and the cooling air creates a gentle equilibrium. It is in this balance that the bathhouse seems most at ease. The day's labor, whatever it may have been for those who now approach, fades into the background here. The baths do not erase effort, they receive it. They provide a place where the body may adjust from exertion to rest, from sunlight to lamplight, from motion to stillness. And this transformation begins not inside, but already here, in the courtyard where warmth meets the first breath of night. The sky deepens further. The edges of columns blur slightly as shadows thicken. The steam that escapes into open air becomes more visible now against darker tones, rising in pale threads before disappearing. It is neither dramatic nor dense, only persistent, like a quiet reminder of the warmth contained within. The entrance arch stands in soft contrast against the courtyard stones. The light within grows slightly stronger as lamps are fully lit, casting a muted amber glow that touches the threshold but does not spill far beyond it. It suggests comfort rather than spectacle. There is a sense that the building itself is exhaling, releasing the day and preparing for the slower rhythm of evening. The vastness of the empire, the distant roads, the ongoing currents of trade and politics, all of it feels far away in this moment. Here, the world narrows gently to stone beneath foot, air against skin, and the faint warmth rising from within. Gradually, attention drifts toward the open archway. Not compelled, not urged, but drawn by the subtle shift in light and temperature. The outer courtyard remains calm, but the interior promises a deeper stillness shaped by walls and vaulted ceilings. The transition between outside and inside appears seamless, as though one could step forward without noticing the exact moment when open sky becomes enclosed space. The last of the sunset fades entirely, leaving behind the soft blue of early night. The bathhouse stands steady beneath it, its marble surfaces now illuminated more by lamplight than by day. The warmth that once gathered from the sun is nearly spent outside, yet inside it continues, sustained by hidden fire and flowing water. The threshold waits in patient silence. The threshold, solid and quiet, is crossed with an ease that has grown familiar over many evenings. Sandaled feet press lightly against the worn stone, each step leaving a faint echo that fades before it reaches the edges of the high walls. The open sky behind softens into memory, its deepening blue replaced gradually by the subdued glow that spreads beneath the arches. It is not an abrupt change, but a gentle folding of one space into another, as if the air itself is guiding the body inward. Within the arch, the temperature shifts subtly. The cool breath of the evening lingers for a moment across shoulders and arms, yet it is soon absorbed by a warmth that rises from the marble underfoot. The stones, dense and patient, release the heat they have gathered during the day in a steady, almost imperceptible flow. Each step is cushioned by this quiet radiance, creating a rhythm that invites the body to slow without conscious effort. Outside sounds retreat softly. The distant clatter of carts, the fading voices of those still wandering the streets, and the irregular tapping of footsteps dissolve into the calm that inhabits the building. In their place, a gentler sound emerges, water moving beneath floors and through unseen channels, barely audible but constant. It is a soft, rhythmic whisper, steady and unobtrusive, like a heartbeat that belongs neither to one individual nor to any single moment. It fills the senses without insisting upon attention. The corridor stretches ahead, framed by columns whose surfaces are smooth with age. Their shadows lengthen subtly across the floor, pulled by the flicker of oil lamps nestled in carved niches. The lamps do not glare. Their glow is even and comforting, illuminating stone and air in equal measure. Light filters through the arches in diffuse patterns, brushing the walls in quiet strokes of amber, suggesting spaces beyond without revealing them entirely. Marble floors reflect these muted tones, polished and gentle beneath the passing feet. The sound of movement is cushioned, softened by the dense stone and quiet air. Each step seems to carry the visitor farther not only into the building but also into a state of stillness, as if the act of crossing itself is a quiet ritual of release. The body adjusts almost imperceptibly to the gentle warmth, the soft illumination, and the subtle hum of distant water. The walls curve softly into the ceiling, forming an overhead arch that guides the eye upward without demanding focus. There is symmetry here, calm and orderly, yet nothing feels rigid. The space seems to breathe slowly, expanding with each inhalation and contracting with each exhalation, allowing the visitor to move without tension. Shadows fold gently into themselves, light blends seamlessly with stone, and the senses are invited to wander lightly without urgency. A faint trace of steam rises from deeper within, hinting at the pools and channels beyond, yet it is so delicate that it barely disturbs the cool air near the threshold. Its presence is reassuring, a quiet indication of continuity and warmth waiting further inside. The movement of air carries it in subtle swirls, along the walls and across the marble, integrating it into the calm rhythm of the corridor. The corridor widens slightly as it progresses, leading toward spaces unseen but softly suggested by the arrangement of columns and the diminishing height of shadows. Light sources shift imperceptibly, becoming warmer as they guide the visitor forward. Every surface, stone, plaster, and marble, absorbs and reflects this light with gentle restraint, creating a seamless environment in which the eye can rest and the body can release tension. At the far end, an inner doorway appears, framed by another soft arch. It is not imposing, nor does it call for attention. It simply exists, a continuation of the journey. The warmth from the interior seeps gently into the corridor, blending with the fading evening cool. There is a quiet invitation to move forward, yet no compulsion, an unspoken ease that allows the visitor to linger if desired. The gentle murmur of water continues beneath the floors, a reminder of the hidden forces that maintain comfort and balance within the bathhouse. Its presence is steady, almost hypnotic, wrapping the space in subtle continuity. Every inhalation brings the scent of warm stone, faint oil, and the clean trace of water, merging into a calm, enveloping atmosphere. Each sense contributes to a gradual unwinding, unhurried and complete in its subtlety. The walls themselves seem to guide attention inward. Patterns carved long ago are softened by the dim light, their details noticeable but not demanding. The eyes move naturally from floor to wall to ceiling, following the gentle lines of architecture. Every shape and contour encourages stillness rather than action, a seamless transition from outside movement to internal quiet. Shadows deepen in the corners, but they carry no tension. They are simply part of the space, participating in the slow rhythm of light and air. As the visitor continues, the cool breeze from outside diminishes further, replaced almost entirely by the warmth that emanates from stone and water. The contrast is gentle, creating a comforting gradient that shifts the body and mind into a relaxed state. The corridor bends slightly, curving with the architecture, and the sound of water shifts subtly in tone. It is still distant, still soft, but now it suggests pools and channels that lie ahead. There is a sense of progression without urgency, of a journey that is neither begun in haste nor concluded abruptly. The body moves with the path, synchronized to the slow, steady pulse of the environment. Finally, the corridor opens into a slightly larger space, a quiet antechamber that precedes the rooms within. The walls are still high, the shadows still long, but the atmosphere feels more contained, more intimate. The warmth is steady, the lamps burn softly, and the faint traces of steam suggest the presence of water yet unseen. It is a gentle arrival at the edge of the inner sanctum, a space that promises comfort and quiet, without imposing any requirement to act. Here the threshold has been crossed, yet the journey is not complete. The visitor lingers in the calm, guided by soft light, mild warmth, and the faint murmur of water beneath stone. The moment stretches quietly, allowing senses to adjust and awareness to settle. Movement has become almost effortless, thoughts slow, and the body drifts lightly toward the spaces where preparation will soon begin. The visitor steps gently into the apoditerium, the room designed for quiet preparation. The air here is subtly warmer than the corridor, carrying a faint hint of heated marble and lingering moisture from chambers beyond. The space is broad yet intimate, its walls pale and even, catching the soft glow of oil lamps set along low niches. Light spreads without pressure, illuminating surfaces without glare, offering the eyes room to rest. A gentle warmth rises from the stone beneath, spreading softly across the feet, steady and unassuming, inviting a calm attentiveness to the body's own rhythm. Marble benches line the walls, each one polished smooth over countless years. On them, folded garments lie quietly, their textures varied. The soft linen of tunics, the heavier folds of woolen wraps, and small leather straps coiled with care. Nearby, small oil vessels rest on flat stones, each one simple, unadorned, yet placed with deliberate intention. The glow of candlelight touches their surfaces, and the oil within shimmers faintly, reflecting the gentle movements of flame as it dances across the walls. There is no urgency in these objects. They exist to accompany a slow, methodical process, allowing the visitor to settle into the rhythm of preparation. The marble floor is cool beneath the sandaled feet, but the stone's density holds warmth in subtle patches, easing the transition from corridor to interior chamber. Every step produces a quiet, familiar sound, softened by the polished surface. The room feels alive, yet not in the way of motion or noise, but in the stillness of deliberate design. Every surface, every object, seems arranged to encourage mindfulness without thought, presence without effort. The space invites patience, and the visitor moves with it, one step and one breath at a time. A delicate steam rises from vents in the adjoining chambers, trailing lazily through the air. It mingles with the faint aroma of oil and stone, creating a soft layer of moisture that barely brushes the skin. This mist does not impose itself. Rather, it is a quiet companion, a gentle suggestion of the warmth that lies ahead. The body adjusts unconsciously, drawing in the gentle heat and soft fragrance, each inhalation marking a small, unhurried ritual. The walls themselves bear carved patterns, shallow and unobtrusive, shaped to complement the sense of calm. Geometric lines and subtle floral motifs provide a visual rhythm, guiding the eye slowly across surfaces. Shadows from the lamps shift gradually with each flicker, creating moving patterns that are neither startling nor insistent. The observer can notice them if attention drifts naturally, or simply let them remain in peripheral vision, absorbed effortlessly into the quiet ambience. Bench surfaces are smooth, edges rounded by generations of use. The folded garments, arranged in modest order, are touched lightly, adjusted minimally as the visitor prepares. The oil vessels are picked up and set down in careful succession, their surfaces cool against the skin, their contents untouched but present in readiness. Each action is unhurried. The body, the mind, and the senses follow in gentle accord. The process requires no thought beyond the immediate, and even that is softened by the stillness that surrounds. The ceiling rises above, vaulting slightly, drawing the eye upward without demanding it. Light filters across arches, illuminating pale walls and subtle stonework with even warmth. Air moves imperceptibly, carrying the faint steam and the cooler currents from the corridor behind. The temperature gradient is minimal yet noticeable, a seamless transition from the gentle coolness outside to the warmer embrace within. The space invites the visitor to breathe more deeply, to release the last traces of street noise and day-bound attention. Small, subtle details mark the room's design. Niches hold vessels of varying size, their surfaces worn and polished by time. The walls bear traces of past activity, subtle indentations and marks that speak only to the long history of use, never to the presence of a single individual. Each element supports a sense of continuity, a feeling that these motions, undressing, applying oil, arranging garments, have been practiced countless times before, and will continue without rush, without interruption. The visitor moves from bench to bench, handling garments with care, draping tunics over the shoulder or folding wraps once more. Each movement is deliberate, yet light, integrated into the quiet choreography of the room. The floor beneath, cool and smooth, carries them effortlessly across its expanse. Light flickers against polished stone surfaces, creating a slow pulse that aligns gently with the steady, unhurried rhythm of the body. As the visitor prepares, the boundary between inside and outside continues to dissolve. The fading evening air from the corridor retreats entirely, replaced by the gentle warmth, the soft illumination, and the almost imperceptible hum of distant water from deeper chambers. The room itself feels like a gentle pause, a deliberate suspension between movement and stillness, a space in which presence can be total yet effortless. Every sense is engaged in a quiet, indirect way. The fingers sense the texture of marble and cloth, the feet the subtle warmth radiating from below, the eyes the gentle oscillations of lamplight and shadows, and the ears the near-silent movement of air and water. Each sensation is acknowledged without effort, absorbed into a flowing awareness that neither demands thought nor provokes emotion. Time here moves differently. It does not accelerate, nor does it halt. It simply extends, allowing small, habitual gestures to occupy their own natural duration. Folding, arranging, adjusting, touching, inhaling, all occur in harmony with the ambient calm. The body settles into this rhythm naturally, as if drawn by an unspoken invitation. At the far side of the room, the doorway to the next chamber waits quietly. Beyond lies the tepidarium, where warmth and gentle heat will begin to envelop the body further. The visitor's movements subtly shift in that direction, guided by the warmth of the lamps, the rising steam, and the natural flow of the space. Preparation is complete not through ceremony but through the ease of motion, and attention drifts seamlessly toward what is to come. The last faint traces of evening from the corridor are entirely absorbed here. The stone walls and floor retain subtle heat, the air is soft and unbroken, and the scent of oil, stone, and water settles into a harmonious blend. The visitor is ready, though there is no urgency, only a natural, gentle progression forward, toward the warmth that waits silently beyond the next threshold. The visitor steps quietly from the preparation room into the tepidarium, where warmth greets the body without insistence. The air is gentle, holding the faint heat of carefully maintained marble beneath, and it brushes softly across skin already adjusted from the corridor and changing room. Every inhalation carries the subtle scent of heated stone mingled with faint traces of water. It is a quiet welcome, almost imperceptible yet persistent, encouraging a slow, steady relaxation. The tepidarium stretches before the visitor, its proportions generous but never imposing. Marble benches line the walls, smooth and cool in some places, yet warmed gently in others by the building's hidden underfloor channels. Small pools of shallow water rest between them, reflecting the soft lamplight in pale glimmers across the ceilings and walls. The water does not move violently, it rises and falls in near imperceptible currents, breathing alongside the quiet warmth of the room. Light enters softly, filtered through high windows and archways, touching surfaces without glare. Each step produces a muted echo, absorbed by the careful architecture, reinforcing the sense of calm. Shadows deepen and soften with each flicker of lamp flame, folding into one another like gentle waves across the stone surfaces. The eye moves freely, resting at will, noticing only what drifts naturally into attention. There is no need to seek, no demand to focus, only the invitation to exist here, quietly, slowly. Steam rises from the pools, drifting upward in pale, delicate threads. It carries the faintest trace of mineral and warmth, lingering just above the surfaces before dissolving into the higher air. Each tendril moves with the slightest motion of the room, guided by subtle currents, never rushing. The visitor senses it without thought, a companion to the body as it begins to settle fully into this gentle embrace. The air itself feels lighter, fuller, and the warmth spreads steadily across arms, legs, and shoulders, softening any residual tension from the journey thus far. Benches offer places to pause, to rest partially, or simply to stand and feel the calm pervading the room. Hands may touch marble edges, smooth and familiar, following the quiet pattern of veins and subtle textures shaped by long use. Each surface, each step, contributes to the unfolding ease. There is no hurry, time stretches without pressure, allowing the body to notice its own slow adjustments, to sink lightly into the comfort that surrounds it. The soundscape is minimal yet present. Water shifts in shallow pools, producing a gentle, continuous whisper beneath the faint footfalls. The echo of distant corridors is absorbed entirely by the tepidarium, leaving only the subtle murmur of liquid and the soft susurration of air moving through arches. The visitor does not need to listen actively. The environment itself carries sound in a manner that soothes without drawing attention, layering calm with calm, building a rhythm that requires no conscious recognition. The ceiling arches high overhead, its stone curved to create a sense of enclosure without confinement. Light from lamps rests along these surfaces, diffused, moving slowly across walls and floors as flames shift subtly in their oil pools. The warmth rises, carrying faint steam, mingling with the cooler breath of marble that retains residual chill from previous hours. This gentle contrast allows the body to sense its own gradual adjustment to temperature, a quiet interplay of cool and warm that relaxes muscles and eases awareness into softness. The pools themselves are shallow, their surfaces still except for the faintest disturbance as air moves across them. They mirror the room in pale reflections, capturing light and shadow, yet neither dominating nor distracting. The visitor may notice these reflections or may not. Both are permissible, both are gentle, and neither demands conscious focus. The subtle shimmer invites nothing more than relaxed observation, a quiet awareness that blends seamlessly with the overall stillness. The walls, pale and smooth, bear shallow reliefs and geometric patterns that provide gentle visual rhythm. They do not draw the eye forcibly, but allow it to wander naturally along familiar shapes. Shadows deepen and soften against these contours, creating the sensation of depth without tension, suggesting continuity in space rather than abrupt edges. Each element encourages stillness and the perception of slow, deliberate movement, without requiring conscious attention. As the visitor moves further into the tepidarium, each step is measured against the gentle rhythm of the room. The body adapts automatically to warmth and moisture, breathing adjusts without instruction, and muscles ease naturally. Marble beneath sandaled feet transmits subtle heat and stability, while the air wraps the skin in soft currents. There is a quiet dialogue between body and environment, entirely unspoken, entirely unhurried. Every sense is engaged subtly. The hands feel the smooth edges of benches and pools. The ears perceive the soft, constant movement of water and air. The eyes rest upon pale walls, faint reliefs, and shifting light. The nose takes in warmth and faint minerals, blending them into a calming background. Each sensation harmonizes without thought, supporting the visitor's slow adjustment into the tepidarium's gentle heat. Movement is fluid and optional. The visitor may step lightly along benches, may pause to observe the pools, may let attention drift to subtle shapes and shadows. There is no agenda, no urgency, only the continuity of space, light, and warmth. The body's awareness extends outward, integrating the room into a quiet, almost meditative experience. The doorway to the caldarium rests just beyond the far end of the tepidarium. Its presence is suggested by a faint increase in warmth, a subtle shift in light, and a gentle intensification of the air's humidity. The visitor senses the next step without needing to act immediately, the transition apparent in perception rather than in movement. The tepidarium's calm has not been concluded. It persists even as attention drifts forward, blending seamlessly with what lies ahead. The heat, gentle yet present, encourages a deepening of the body's relaxation. The shallow pools shimmer faintly, lamps flicker softly, and marble surfaces retain the warmth carried from underfloor channels. Everything exists to support ease, motion, perception, and breath. The visitor is guided naturally toward a quieter, more enveloping space, yet the rhythm remains unhurried and patient. Here, in the tepidarium, the body and mind are invited to linger, to notice the warmth, the soft illumination, and the quiet water beneath, before moving further into the bathhouse. The journey continues without haste, the next chamber awaiting as a natural extension of comfort and gentle release. The visitor steps slowly into the caldarium, and warmth rises immediately, gentle yet encompassing, wrapping around the body in a quiet embrace. The air is heavy with moisture, carrying the soft scent of heated marble and faint traces of mineral from the water below. Steam drifts lazily upward in pale, curling threads, moving almost imperceptibly across walls, benches, and shallow pools. Each breath draws in warmth, Each exhale allows the body to release lingering tension, blending seamlessly into the room's pervasive comfort. The marble beneath the feet radiates a gentle heat, rising steadily from channels below the surface. It is not sudden, nor does it demand attention. Rather, it becomes a continuous presence, subtle and persistent, easing muscles with its consistent touch. Each step feels absorbed into the flooring, cushioned by the warmth, steadying the visitor's movements and encouraging a slower pace. There is an invitation here, silent and complete, to let the body adapt naturally, without effort, without thought. Oil lamps, carefully spaced along niches and alcoves, glow softly through the rising steam. Their flames are small and controlled, diffusing light across the walls in calm washes rather than sharp points. Shadows blend and fold into one another, softening the geometry of arches, columns, and the gently curving benches. The room is alive with subtle motion. Steam currents rise and twist, light drifts and fluctuates, and air moves just enough to keep warmth and quiet circulation. Yet these movements are neither abrupt nor insistent. They form a slow, continuous rhythm that the senses follow without conscious direction. Shallow pools line the sides of the room, their surfaces barely disturbed. Heat radiates from the water as if the liquid itself participates in the gentle expansion of comfort. Reflections of lamplight shimmer faintly on the calm surfaces, blurred by thin layers of steam. The visitor may notice these subtle glimmers, or may simply allow them to exist in the peripheral vision, absorbed into the atmosphere without need for attention. Each pool is a quiet companion to the warmth, offering subtle visual texture that complements the sensation of heat. The walls are pale, polished, and smooth, yet they bear soft traces of age and long use. Carved reliefs are shallow, geometric, and unobtrusive, guiding the eye without commanding it. The interplay of light and shadow across these surfaces is slow and predictable, a gentle modulation that encourages stillness. The ceiling arches overhead, drawing attention upward subtly, creating a sense of openness while maintaining the enveloping quality of the air below. The space is both protective and expansive, allowing the visitor to exist without effort or thought. Steam continues to rise in thin, curling threads, occasionally brushing against the skin before dissipating into the higher air. It is a presence both tangible and ephemeral, warming without clinging, hinting at the hidden systems beneath the floors and behind the walls. The heat is immersive, yet measured, never overwhelming. The body gradually absorbs it, aligning breathing and pulse to the calm rhythm of the environment. Movement here is optional, each step softened by heated stone and guided by the instinctive desire for ease. Benches along the walls provide gentle resting places, smooth and broad enough to accommodate pause without constraint. The visitor may choose to sit, to shift weight, to extend limbs slightly and feel the warmth permeate. Each posture feels natural, effortless, supported by the subtle incline of the marble and the constant yet gentle heat. Hands may rest upon the stone, sensing its gradual warmth, noting the faint, smooth veins and minute imperfections that speak of countless others who moved here long before. Yet these traces do not call attention. They merely exist, a quiet testament to continuity. The interplay of light and water is continuous. Lamplight glances off the shallow pools, soft reflections diffuse through rising steam, creating a moving tapestry of pale gold and muted shadow. The visitor may notice how the reflections shift with each subtle movement of air, each adjustment of posture, or may simply allow them to exist, an ambient companion to the enveloping warmth. The experience is calm, integrated, and complete in its gentle complexity. Sound is minimal but present. Faint murmurs of moving water from distant chambers, the occasional soft echo of steps across heated marble, and the subtle hiss of steam meeting cooler air. These auditory elements are barely perceptible, forming a soft backdrop that reinforces stillness rather than commanding focus. Each sound, like every other sensation, is absorbed seamlessly, reinforcing the visitor's gentle immersion into the caldarium's embrace. Air and warmth blend subtly, moving across the body in currents that are neither sharp nor forced. The skin senses gradual changes in humidity and temperature, and muscles respond without thought, easing and relaxing in harmony with the environment. Breathing deepens naturally, unhurried, synchronized with the calm, pervasive heat. Every inhalation and exhalation draws the visitor further into the room's quiet, enveloping rhythm. The space suggests movement without urging it. The visitor may step from pool to pool, may pause along the benches, may lean lightly against smooth walls, all while the body absorbs warmth and the senses take in subtle light, shadow, and steam. There is no agenda here, no rush, no obligation, only the seamless continuity of heat, air, and quiet observation. The body, the senses, and the mind are all guided to a gentle stillness, each element contributing to the immersive calm. At the far end, another archway hints at the next chamber, where water will dominate more directly and attention may turn to its presence. The doorway is suggested through an increase in steam, a slight intensification of heat, and the deeper sound of water moving beneath surfaces. The visitor is aware of the passage, yet remains fully present in the caldarium, embracing warmth and quiet awareness without hurry. Here, in the caldarium, the body experiences an enveloping comfort, a slow, steady immersion into heat and gentle moisture. The pools shimmer softly, lamps glow through mist, and marble radiates steady warmth. Movement, sensation, and awareness merge effortlessly, creating a calm that invites lingering, breathing, and slow adjustment before the next stage of the bathhouse journey unfolds. The visitor moves slowly through the caldarium, guided by the quiet presence of shallow pools and gentle streams flowing along the marble floor. Water moves with soft persistence, carrying light in subtle reflections across the room, shimmering faintly through the thin veil of steam. Each ripple forms and dissolves without effort, creating a rhythm that is neither insistent nor hurried, allowing the body and mind to synchronize with its delicate pace. The sound is barely there, a soft, continuous murmur that blends seamlessly with the warmth of the air, the gentle touch of marble, and the slow, steady breath of the visitor. Shallow channels guide the water between pools, their edges carved with care into the stone. The visitor steps lightly beside them, noticing how the streams reflect and refract the muted lamplight, stretching the glow across walls and benches in slow, unpredictable patterns. Steam rises in gentle wisps above the surfaces, softening every edge and blending air, water, and heat into a cohesive, enveloping environment. The marble is warm beneath the feet, absorbing the presence of water and radiating it outward, encouraging muscles to release gradually and completely into the calm. Hands may trail lightly over the edges of the pools, feeling the smooth, polished stone beneath the skin. The water is temperate, neither hot nor cold, carrying warmth through subtle conduction and gentle pressure. Fingers disturb the surface only slightly, sending delicate ripples across the shallow depths. Each movement is minimal, intentional only in the sense that it follows natural curiosity, never in a hurry, never demanding attention beyond the quiet observation of sensation and reflection. Every ripple fades softly, leaving only the mirrored glow of lamps and the lingering warmth of the stone. The visitor may pause at a pool, leaning slightly over the surface, observing the way reflections bend and shift in tandem with the faint currents. Shadows and light dance slowly together, weaving across the marble floor and walls in quiet interplay. Steam rises from each pool, curling around fingers or wrists before dissipating into the higher air, blending with the warmer currents that carry through the caldarium. Every inhalation draws in the soft, humid air, carrying the faint mineral scent and the smooth aroma of heated stone, each exhalation releasing tension, encouraging a deeper sense of presence and calm. The channels themselves guide movement almost imperceptibly, a gentle suggestion of direction without imposing it. The visitor follows the course of the water, observing subtle changes in depth, the way light plays across surfaces, and how each pool's stillness contrasts with the minimal ripples of neighboring streams. Each observation is gentle, optional, allowing attention to drift or linger, absorbed effortlessly into the quiet cadence of the room. There is no need for judgment, no need to track progression, only the freedom to exist in this space and follow its slow, meditative flow. The architecture supports observation without distraction. Arches frame pools, niches provide subtle variation, and the walls carry shallow reliefs that add texture to the light and shadow. Steam mingles with these elements, softening angles and rounding edges, creating a sense of cohesion that allows the eye to rest freely. No shape demands focus, no line interrupts the calm. Everything exists to support unhurried attention, the quiet movement of air and water, and the gentle passage of the body through space. Marble benches and low steps offer places to pause, to settle, or to allow attention to drift from one pool to another. The visitor moves slowly, perhaps leaning lightly on stone surfaces, noticing the faint warmth transmitted through contact. The water's surface responds subtly, creating ripples that dissolve silently, reflecting the surrounding glow and diffusing across the room. Movement becomes a meditative observation, each shift of posture or step matched by the slow, patient rhythm of water and light. The subtle warmth of the caldarium continues to encourage relaxation, while the water adds its own presence to the environment. Pools reflect faint shadows, channels carry motion, and steam softens the atmosphere into an almost tactile calm. Every sense participates gently: touch of stone and water, vision of slow light and reflection, sound of quiet movement, scent of heat and mineral. There is no urgency, no requirement to perceive fully. The room supports gradual, effortless immersion in calm. The visitor may find themselves following a stream as it winds between pools, observing the delicate undulation of its surface. Each curve, each minor disturbance, is a quiet invitation to linger, to breathe slowly, to allow the body to sink deeper into warmth and rest. Steam and light cooperate to extend the impression of gentle movement, creating a space that feels continuous yet without pressure, immersive yet light, both still and flowing at once. In these moments, attention may drift across patterns of marble, the subtle shimmer of water, and the faint reflections of lamps through steam. Muscles continue to release tension, respiration becomes more measured and calm, and the mind merges with the quiet presence of heat, light, and fluid motion. The visitor is present without effort, carried gently by the combination of warmth, water, and soft illumination. Beyond the pools, the far end of the caldarium suggests a transition to a more tactile experience: the use of oils and gentle touches that accompany the ritual of bathing. A faintly brighter glow, a shift in steam density, and the subtle sound of small vessels hint at what lies ahead. The visitor's body remains fully immersed in the current space, yet awareness drifts toward the next stage, guided by continuity, not by urgency. The water's presence remains, carrying the soft illumination, the gentle warmth, and the almost imperceptible murmur of moving liquid, inviting one more step forward without haste. Here, among pools and streams, the visitor experiences quiet reflection, slow rhythm, and effortless immersion. Each ripple, each reflection, each breath of warm air supports a deepening sense of calm, preparing for the next phase where scent, touch, and oils will become companions in the unhurried progression of the bathhouse ritual. The visitor remains near the softly shimmering pools, noticing how the warm air carries subtle hints of fragrant oils. Small vessels rest along marble ledges, their contents barely disturbing the surrounding calm. Each aroma is gentle and unhurried, mingling with the soft steam that rises from the shallow water. The heat of the caldarium has already relaxed the body, and now these scents invite a further deepening of attention, a slow and quiet acknowledgement of presence without demand. Hands, aided by soft brushes and lightly textured cloths, move with deliberate care along the visitor's shoulders, arms, and legs. Every motion is measured, unhurried, harmonizing with the rhythm of the room. The gentle touch of the oil-soaked brushes and the feather-light pressure of cloths across warm skin create a whisper of sensation, enhancing awareness of the body's own softness and relaxation. There is no urgency, no sudden movement, only the continuous, flowing care of touch applied in perfect synchrony with the environment. Light filters softly through the steam, glancing off the small vessels and the pale marble beneath. Shadows shift lazily as the visitor shifts posture, each turn or lean creating a new reflection or glint of oil. The movement of hands is mirrored subtly in the water below, as gentle ripples catch the glow and diffuse it across surfaces. Steam rises in quiet columns, carrying the scent of oils further, infusing the air with a faint floral warmth that drifts unhurriedly into every corner of the caldarium. The visitor may notice the textures, the variation in temperature between warmed marble, water, and skin, and the soft pressure of brushes gliding slowly along muscles already eased by heat. Each touch is purposeful in its gentleness, inviting the body to release the final layers of tension. Fingers trace contours lightly, following the quiet lines of the body's form without force, guiding attention only through the subtle interplay of sensation, warmth, and scent. Vessels of oil are arranged with care, placed along ledges where light reaches them just enough to cast faint reflections. The visitor observes the golden shimmer of liquid, the faint ripple when a drop meets marble or water, and the lingering aroma that floats gently into the air. Motion is optional, attention optional. Every detail exists to support calm observation, whether noted or allowed to drift by unnoticed. The oils themselves become companions to breath and heartbeat, their presence reinforcing the body's slow alignment with warmth and space. The room's architecture continues to support stillness and gentle attention. Arches, niches, and curved surfaces guide the eye without insistence, their forms softened by the pervasive steam. Light filters through high openings, creating quiet illumination that blends with the diffuse glow of oil lamps. Shadows and reflections shift with the subtle movements of the visitor and the hands that apply oils, forming a dynamic yet soft interplay of light, scent, and motion that lulls attention without commanding it. Steam rises in continuous, curling columns, carrying warmth and fragrance through the space. Each inhalation brings a faint trace of scent that deepens calm, while each exhalation allows lingering tension to dissipate into the humid air. The visitor's body adjusts instinctively, muscles softening further, shoulders settling, and limbs releasing more completely into the support of warmed marble beneath. Every sense participates. Touch, smell, sight, hearing, and proprioception all converge to form a seamless, gentle awareness of presence. The brushes and cloths move with rhythm, each stroke deliberate yet imperceptibly slow. There is no urgency to the movement. The flow mirrors the quiet ripples of nearby pools and the soft undulation of steam above. Hands rest briefly, hover slightly, and glide again, coordinating with the visitor's subtle shifts in posture and breathing. Awareness of sensation deepens, extending beyond mere contact into a holistic perception of warmth, scent, and motion combined. Each application of oil leaves a faint sheen on skin, reflecting the soft light and blending with the surrounding air. Movement becomes a dance of reflection and scent, fully integrated into the caldarium's environment. The visitor notices the glimmer, the warmth, and the faint aroma, yet no observation is required. The body absorbs each nuance naturally, the mind drifting alongside the gentle rhythm of touch and presence. Everything moves in harmony, in quiet collaboration, forming a slow, continuous meditation without words. The visitor may pause mid-stroke, allowing hands to hover and scent to settle, simply breathing with awareness of warmth and contact. The air carries steam and fragrance together, curling around hair, shoulders, and arms, enveloping the visitor in a quiet, immersive calm. There is no rush to move or act, only the soft, deliberate attention of touch and the natural flow of inhalation and exhalation, deepening a sense of presence that is both physical and ambient. In the periphery, pools continue their quiet shimmer, channels continue their slow trickle, and steam drifts in pale currents above the water. Hands glide briefly along arms or back, releasing warmth and tension further, extending relaxation into subtle layers. The visitor's awareness expands slowly outward, encompassing the fragrance, the light, the warmth, and the continuous gentle motion, yet always within a cocoon of quiet, intentional calm. As the application of oils concludes, brushes and cloths lift gently away, leaving only a faint trace of sheen and lingering scent. The visitor remains immersed in warmth, aware of the subtle textures, the slow reflections, and the quiet movement of air and steam. Breath and heartbeat are calm and measured, aligned with the gentle progression of the body's relaxation. The next stage of the journey waits quietly beyond, a space of cooler air and gentle relief, hinting at transition without urgency. Here, in this soft interlude of fragrant oils and subtle touch, the visitor experiences a delicate, enveloping calm. Every detail, from the slow glimmer of oil to the gentle pressure of hands, reinforces a seamless rhythm of warmth, awareness, and quiet presence, preparing both body and mind for the shift that lies ahead. The senses linger, yet are not demanded, allowing the visitor to exist fully in gentle absorption and anticipation. After the gentle application of oils, the visitor rises slowly and moves toward the cooler room, noticing a subtle shift in temperature. The warmth of the caldarium lingers on the skin, a soft memory against the now cooler marble beneath the feet. Air circulates with quiet persistence, carrying a hint of lingering fragrance while inviting a renewed sense of awareness. Muscles, loosened by heat and touch, begin to enjoy the contrast, each movement feeling lighter, less weighted, and more leisurely. The room itself is quiet, almost whispering with gentle drafts and soft echoes of distant water. Light filters softly through small openings, falling in diffused patterns across pale stone surfaces. Shadows stretch and shift in a slow, almost imperceptible rhythm, responding to the visitor's movements and the subtle motions of air. Each step is met with smooth resistance and a sense of gentle support from the floor, reinforcing calm awareness and the feeling of grounded presence. Walls curve gracefully, enclosing the space without confinement. Niches and recesses soften the eye's path, offering subtle variations in texture and illumination. The cooler air carries a faint mineral scent, mingling with the residual warmth and fragrance from the oils. The visitor breathes deeply, inhaling the calm and exhaling slowly, noticing the slight shiver as the body adjusts, yet feeling nothing uncomfortable or abrupt. The transition itself is a companion to rest, guiding muscles and mind alike into a delicate balance of warmth and coolness. Marble benches provide places to pause, settle, or stretch lightly. The visitor may choose to sit for a moment, feeling the difference between the residual heat of skin and the cooler surfaces supporting the body. Hands rest gently upon stone, fingertips tracing subtle grooves and curves. Each touch is absorbed with ease, the coolness reinforcing calm and extending the sense of relaxation. Awareness drifts slowly across the room, guided by the soft movement of air and the gentle contrasts of temperature. A slow breeze moves through the space, carrying the sound of faint footsteps along distant corridors and the occasional whisper of water elsewhere in the complex. The visitor notices these sounds without effort, allowing them to blend seamlessly into the overall perception of the room. Light and shadow continue their unhurried dance, reflecting off walls, benches, and the occasional vessel or niche, each element contributing to a harmonious environment of gentle contrasts and calm observation. The visitor may stand quietly for a moment, feeling the muscles extend and contract slightly in response to cooler air. Each inhalation encourages deeper presence, and each exhalation releases the final layers of lingering tension. There is no urgency, no need to move quickly or adjust posture frequently. The body learns to savor the cool embrace of the space, just as it had absorbed the warmth of the caldarium and the gentle care of oils and touch. Across the room, shadows lengthen and contract subtly, responding to the slow movement of light through high openings. The visitor's eyes follow the faint changes, resting and wandering without strain. Awareness of sensation blends with awareness of environment, warmth remembered, coolness experienced, and the soft rhythm of breath and heartbeat creating an internal cadence that matches the gentle undulations of air and light. The visitor may begin a slow walk along the cooler channels, observing the faint glimmer of water still present from the previous baths, or tracing the cool edges of stone basins. Each step is unhurried, each movement deliberate in its leisure. The senses are engaged gently, the touch of marble, the cool air against skin, the distant sound of flowing water, and the subtle interplay of diffused light and shadow. Nothing demands focus, everything exists to support soft observation and quiet, effortless presence. Light from high windows or openings diffuses through the space in muted columns, touching marble surfaces and echoing faintly off walls. Shadows follow the body's movement and mingle with the contours of the room, blending into the soft folds of the cooler environment. Every step, every slight shift of posture, continues the gentle rhythm established in the caldarium, only now tempered by cooler air and subtle contrasts. The visitor's attention moves freely, sometimes tracing the edges of benches or channels, sometimes drifting over distant walls and niches, entirely optional, entirely calm. As the visitor settles into this slower, cooler environment, the mind and body integrate the experiences of warmth, water, touch, and scent from earlier. Muscles relax further, breath continues in even, measured waves, and a quiet awareness of surroundings encourages reflection without effort. The contrast of temperature invites a heightened perception of calm. The warmth remembered, the cooler air appreciated, the body poised in gentle equilibrium between sensation and rest. The visitor may pause beside a low channel of water, gazing at its faintly reflective surface. Ripples remain subtle, echoing the slow rhythm of the cool room. Hands may hover above, tracing the occasional movement of light upon water, yet no action is necessary. Awareness drifts through the space naturally, absorbing subtle contrasts and nuances, fully immersed in an environment designed to nurture stillness and calm observation. In this gentle transition, the visitor experiences a layered relaxation, warmth fading, touch remembered, scent lingering, and cool air providing a new dimension of calm. The body feels supported, the mind untethered, and the senses allowed to float gently between observation and release. The visitor remains present without effort, each movement slow, each perception soft, preparing quietly for the next stage, stepping outside into evening light, where the world opens subtly into fresh air and fading daylight, a continuation of calm that gently stretches into the approaching night. The visitor steps slowly from the cool room into the quiet garden, where the air is gently touched by the fading warmth of day. Each breath brings a mixture of softened fragrances, the subtle scent of nearby flowers, the faintly earthy aroma of paths lined with moss and stone, and the lingering traces of water from distant fountains. The contrast between indoor coolness and the open evening air is gentle and unhurried, inviting awareness of the body's sensations without effort. Feet meet the soft, textured ground, tracing pathways that wind lightly through the garden, offering places to pause or move slowly at whim. Light shifts gradually across the garden, filtering through the leaves of low trees and climbing vines. Shadows stretch lazily along the ground, mingling with the soft illumination that touches stone benches, flowering shrubs, and the delicate ripple of small water channels. Each visual element invites quiet attention, yet the observer is free to notice or let the gaze drift without demand. The soft rustle of leaves in the gentle evening breeze adds a subtle rhythm, a faint accompaniment to the calm heartbeat and measured breath of the visitor. Small alcoves and curved paths create intimate spaces within the wider garden, where the visitor can pause to rest against a stone edge, feeling the temperature of the earth beneath hands and fingertips. Light continues to fade slowly, shifting from warmer tones to cooler shades, bathing surfaces in a gentle glow that deepens as the evening proceeds. The air is soft and still, carrying faint traces of scents and sounds that merge seamlessly with the body's own quiet pulse of awareness. Flowers and shrubs, carefully arranged, provide a tapestry of muted colors, pale creams, soft lavenders, and the gentle green of leaves. Each hue is softened by the evening light, blending into a calm palette that encourages observation without urgency. The visitor's eyes move slowly across these elements, noticing texture and form in a relaxed rhythm, following stems, petals, and the subtle interplay of shadow and illumination. Movement through the garden is slow, deliberate, and fully integrated with breath and bodily rhythm. A fountain nearby offers a quiet melody of trickling water, so faint that its sound barely rises above the general hush of the evening. The visitor may pause to watch its motion, water catching faint light as it falls, creating ripples that shimmer in soft reflection. There is no need for active attention, only gentle awareness. The hands rest lightly on the edges of a bench or along the pathways, feeling subtle temperature contrasts and textures, while the body remains loose and unburdened, moving with calm deliberation through the space. As shadows lengthen, the visitor notices the slow dimming of the sky above. The remaining light casts soft, elongated shapes across the garden paths, guiding the gaze naturally from one point of interest to another. The sense of time is gentle and unhurried. Evening progresses slowly, each moment blending seamlessly into the next. The air carries a slight coolness, a whisper of the approaching night, yet remains enveloping, neither sharp nor abrupt, only a gentle continuation of comfort. The scent of evening mingles subtly with the lingering warmth of day, faint hints of blossoms, the soft trace of damp earth, and the distant aroma of water warmed by the sun earlier. Each inhalation is slow, each exhalation measured, allowing the visitor to integrate the subtle sensations of temperature, texture, and aroma into a continuous experience of presence. Movement through the garden is optional, but even stillness provides a rich tapestry of perception that fosters ease and calm. Paths curve in gentle arcs, bordered by low stone walls or soft moss, creating natural pauses along the way. The visitor's steps are quiet, almost imperceptible, harmonizing with the overall softness of the garden. Light, shadow, scent, and sound form a unified backdrop for reflection, yet without insistence. Observing the subtle interplay of these elements, the body and mind sink further into relaxation, the senses absorbing layers of calm without effort. Birdsong or distant calls are faint now, nearly fading into silence, yet the listener is aware of them as part of the surrounding calm. The visitor's awareness drifts easily across these elements, sometimes noticing a rustling leaf, a distant ripple of water, or a faint shifting of shadow, and then returning to the larger sweep of garden and sky. The mind remains gently occupied, yet lightly, allowing attention to wander and settle in tandem with breath and heartbeat. Benches and low walls offer spaces to pause for a longer moment. The visitor may choose to sit, hands resting lightly on surfaces, observing the subtle gradient of evening light fading toward night. The environment encourages quiet reflection and gentle observation, without any need for action or focus. Muscles remain relaxed, limbs supported by cool stone or soft earth beneath, and breath continues in slow, steady waves, fully attuned to the serene rhythm of the surroundings. As the evening deepens, the visitor moves more slowly, taking in the diminishing light, the soft rustle of leaves and the faint trickle of water. Each element blends seamlessly, forming a gentle continuum that carries the body and mind forward without demand or interruption. Awareness expands naturally, encompassing the gentle fading of day, the delicate scents, the faint textures under hands and feet, and the soft play of light and shadow. Movement is optional, observation is optional, yet the calm is persistent and pervasive. The visitor lingers along a quiet path, feeling the transition from warmth to cooler evening air, from brighter light to the softening twilight. Muscles, already relaxed from baths, oils, and cool rooms, continue to release remaining tension, and every step is guided by an unhurried, almost meditative attention to surroundings. Each inhale gathers calm, each exhale releases lingering restlessness, forming a seamless rhythm that aligns body, mind, and environment. In this garden of muted colors and gentle light, the visitor experiences a near-complete immersion in the calm of evening. Each subtle movement, each soft sound, and each faint scent contributes to a continuous state of relaxation. Awareness drifts naturally between observation of environment and inward attention, reinforcing a slow, unhurried descent toward deeper rest. The visitor's steps, the soft shift of air, the quiet presence of evening flowers, and the subtle retreat of light prepare the senses for the final stage of the journey. The garden invites a lingering observation that can continue without effort, easing the body and mind into a near slumber, while the approaching night carries forward the calm and gentle continuity, readying the transition into complete stillness and final rest. The visitor moves slowly along the final paths of the quiet garden, feeling the soft embrace of evening all around. Light continues to diminish, fading gently into a delicate twilight that brushes across leaves, flowers, and the smooth surfaces of stone paths. Shadows lengthen and blend seamlessly with the faint glimmer of water channels and the subtle textures of moss and earth beneath feet. Every inhalation carries the cool, gentle air, mingled with softened scents from fading blossoms and distant fountains. Each exhalation releases remaining tension, a gradual ebb of awareness that begins to fold the body and mind into rest. Steps become slower, almost imperceptible, as the visitor allows each movement to dissolve into stillness. The garden seems to breathe in unison with the body, a calm rhythm of leaf, air, and water responding to the soft pulse of quiet life. Fingers trace lightly along the edges of benches, the smooth curve of stone, or the textured surface of earth, feeling the lingering warmth of day dissolve into the coolness of evening. Sight and touch merge effortlessly, neither demanding attention, each sensation softening into the other. As the visitor settles near a quiet corner, a low bench or shaded niche, the body begins to lean into comfort without effort. Muscles, previously warmed by baths and soothed by oils, relax further, releasing their final traces of stiffness. The senses begin to blend into a gentle continuum. The cool air, the faint fragrances, the distant murmur of water, and the soft, slowly dimming light all fold into a harmonious rhythm. Awareness is present yet unhurried, a subtle current guiding the mind into a state of calm observation and gentle release. Eyes drift over the garden one last time, catching the faint shimmer of water, the curve of petals, the soft edges of stone paths. Shadows stretch and melt into one another, creating patterns that invite restful attention without requiring it. The visitor's breath deepens naturally, each inhale drawing in quiet, each exhale letting go of lingering thoughts or sensations. Every movement becomes optional, each perception optional, until stillness and observation flow together seamlessly. The subtle rustle of leaves in the faint evening breeze continues to accompany the visitor, but it is no longer noticed actively. It simply blends into the background, a gentle soundscape for the mind to follow as it drifts. The fragrance of flowers in the earth, once vivid, now softens into a quiet memory of place, a delicate imprint on the senses. The temperature is steady, neither warm nor sharp, supporting the body as it gradually releases the final tension of the day's journey through baths, oils, cool rooms, and the garden's embrace. The visitor leans back lightly, hands resting gently on smooth stone or cool earth, feeling a subtle sense of balance as muscles let go completely. Awareness of the surroundings becomes optional. The faint trickle of water, the soft sway of branches, and the muted colors of fading light coalesce into a calm tapestry that no longer demands attention. The body feels supported, the mind eased, each inhale carrying calm and each exhale dissolving remaining tension further into rest. Thoughts begin to drift slowly, unfocused, without narrative or demand. Memories of the warm baths, the cooling rooms, and the gentle walk through the garden surface as faint impressions, blending softly with the rhythm of breath and heartbeat. Sensation and perception continue in harmony, but without insistence. The visitor is neither attentive nor disengaged, merely present in the soft, unhurried awareness of quiet evening. The fading light encourages the mind to follow suit, sinking gently toward the edges of consciousness. Every detail of the garden, the shifting shadows, the subtle textures of stone and foliage, the reflective surfaces of water, begins to dissolve into a calm haze, a slow merging of experience into memory. The visitor's body responds with increased ease, limbs releasing weight and tension, shoulders loosening further, head and neck tilting gently toward comfort. Breath remains slow and measured, a continuous rhythm carrying the transition from wakefulness to the threshold of sleep. The garden itself seems to fade into a gentle stillness. Light and shadow merge completely, scent becomes a soft impression, and sound reduces to the faintest murmur in the distance. The visitor's awareness drifts with this fading environment, following the natural rhythm of evening as the body leans fully into support, allowing every sensation to soften and flow into the next. There is no effort, no thought of tomorrow or yesterday, only the continuous, unbroken presence of the moment, slipping slowly toward rest. The visitor's attention, once lightly engaged with subtle textures and forms, now drifts inward, absorbed in the body's natural sensation of release and ease. The rhythm of breath, the subtle pulse of heartbeat, and the soft weight of limbs create a gentle current that carries consciousness toward quiet. Each inhalation draws calm, each exhalation lets go, forming a seamless movement from awareness into a state of restful ease. Muscles remain completely relaxed, bones supported by the earth or stone beneath. Eyes close gently or remain half-lidded, tracing fading patterns of light and shadow that slowly dissolve into one continuous softness. The visitor experiences the culmination of the evening's journey. Warm baths, oil-scented skin, the refreshing cool room, and the gentle garden now merged into an enveloping calm. Consciousness and sensation exist without effort, drifting effortlessly, slowly, without demand or urgency. Time itself begins to feel less defined, each moment blending into the next without boundary. The fading light, the softened air, and the quiet garden converge into an experience of complete tranquility. Awareness of the environment, once detailed and attentive, now folds entirely into the rhythm of the body. Breath, heartbeat, and the subtle whisper of evening guide the visitor gently toward the threshold of sleep, a slow, unhurried surrender to rest. The visitor remains seated or reclining, fully supported, the mind and body synchronized in soft relaxation. Sensation, perception, and thought exist only as faint currents, gradually diminishing in clarity until only calm persists. The final impressions of the garden, the last flicker of shadow, the soft trace of fragrance, the quiet murmur of water, fade gently, leaving a serene space within the mind. The visitor is poised on the edge of sleep, carried effortlessly by the rhythm of evening and the gentle unfolding of experience into stillness. In this quiet, the visitor drifts in a seamless continuum of relaxation, each breath a wave that deepens the calm. The last visual impressions, the soft air, and the memory of warmth fade into one gentle current. The garden, the cool room, and the caldarium exist only as a tender echo, a soft backdrop against which the mind and body prepare for complete rest. Awareness drifts without direction, following the natural rhythm of calm, the gradual fade into sleep, the gentle closing of the day's experience into night's ember. You don't need to keep listening anymore. The story can fade into the background now, becoming softer with every moment. If you're still awake, that's perfectly fine. There's no rush and nothing you need to remember. Just let your breathing slow down. Let your thoughts drift where they want to go. And allow the quiet of this night to settle around you. This story will remain here, gently playing while you rest. Tomorrow night, a new night will be waiting for you, and it's one you won't want to miss. And if sleep hasn't arrived just yet, you can quietly return to one of the previous nights, and let those stories guide you instead. For now, sleep well.